The movie opens amidst a chaotic storm of flying tomatoes at Spain's wild La Tomatina festival. Hidden in the crowd, intelligence operatives, disguised as journalists, move with precision, their eyes locked on a deadly target. A joint task force, composed of MI6 operatives and CIA agents, is being led by the unflinching senior agent Noel Bissett. Their target, Viktor Gradov, a cunning Russian arms dealer known for slipping through the fingers of even the most elite intelligence units. And right from the first few minutes, you know this isn't your average cat-and-mouse chase, it's an international nightmare in the making. They had eyes on him in the crowd, but identifying Viktor Gradov required access to ECHELON, the world's most advanced surveillance system. They were granted a strict 1-minute window. But just as the data locked in, the operation spiraled into disaster. Gradov had anticipated every move. The team leaders scanned the swarm of festival-goers and froze. Multiple faces looked exactly like Gradov. Then more. And more. A sick realization hit her. They'd been compromised. She reached for her comms to warn the others, but it was too late. Gradov's men struck with brutal precision. Every field operative was exposed and gunned down, including the agent working ECHELON. In the frenzy, the team leader fought back, dropping several attackers. But as she lunged for the ECHELON device, a shotgun blast ripped through the air, hurling her backward. She crashed into a pile of crushed tomatoes, motionless. Right from this point, we're not just watching a spy movie, we're watching a cyber Cold War in the making. Gradov isn't just a villain, he's a warning. What do you think really happened next? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying the ride, like, share, and subscribe for more intense stories like this. Let's go. Elsewhere in London, British Prime Minister Sam Clarke braces for an awkward state visit from the brash and unpredictable newly elected US President Will Derringer, a former action movie icon. The meeting quickly spirals into chaos, culminating in a heated verbal clash caught live by the media. In a bid to save face and present unity before the upcoming NATO summit in Trieste, their aides, Quincy and Bradshaw, convinced the two leaders to travel together aboard Air Force One. But unity is short-lived. Mid-flight, disaster strikes. Gradov's mercenaries launch a brutal aerial attack, bringing the presidential jet crashing down. Clarke and Derringer eject just in time, parachuting into the frigid wilderness of Belarus, where they are presumed dead by the outside world. And just like that, the two most powerful men in the Western world are ghosts, hunted, freezing, and alone behind enemy lines. On the run and hunted, the unlikely duo stumbles upon a sympathetic Belarusian woman who helps smuggle them across the border into Poland. There, they reconnect with CIA officer Marty Comer in Warsaw. But safety proves an illusion. Gradov's deadly assassins, Sasha and Olga, storm the safe house. Comer is seemingly gunned down in the firefight, but Clarke and Derringer escape, rescued in the nick of time by a ghost from the past, Bissett, who miraculously survived the Spain massacre. This movie doesn't give you a breather. Just when you think someone's dead, they walk back in with a gun and a grudge. Bissett reveals that Gradov's elite hacker, Hammond, has breached ECHELON and unleashed classified files into the public domain, throwing the NATO summit into disarray. Tensions rise further when Derringer discovers a personal betrayal. Clarke and Bissett once shared a romantic past, a history that ended when Clarke chose politics over love. Determined to stop Gradov, the trio travels by train toward Trieste. But their journey is derailed again. Another assassin strikes. In a shocking twist, Hammond turns on his master and kills the attacker, only to be mortally wounded. With his dying breath, he directs them to his old office in Zadar, Croatia, where evidence awaits. There, they uncover damning chat logs pointing to Bradshaw, Derringer's trusted aide. Before they can act, another ambush tears through the building. Sam Clarke laid down relentless cover fire. Suddenly, the air roared. Viktor Gradov descended in a black helicopter, hovering like a predator above the chaos. In a swift, brutal move, he latched onto the safe room containing Derringer and Bissett, ripping it out of the building with a steel cable. Dangling high above the city, death seemed certain. Gradov sneered, ready to drop them to their doom, but in a desperate, last-second leap, they hurled themselves out of the swaying chamber, crashing hard onto the rooftop of an adjacent building. Bruised but alive, they had cheated death by inches. But the nightmare wasn't over. From the chopper's open door, Gradov aimed a shoulder-fired rocket launcher straight at Sam Clark, then fired. Clark is caught in a fiery explosion, seemingly lost forever. At this point, Clark's chances of survival are lower than your phone battery at 2%. But hold that thought. Shattered but resolute, Derringer and Bissett arrive at the NATO summit. They uncover the true mastermind, Vice President Elizabeth Kirk, who used Bradshaw as a decoy to cover her betrayal. As Kirk's mercenaries close in, chaos erupts once again in the streets of Trieste. Just as all hope seems lost, Clark roars back into the fray, alive and driving a commandeered fire truck from Croatia. In a ferocious pursuit through the city, Olga meets her end when her own grenade launcher backfires. The trio arrives at the summit just in time to halt Kirk's plan to dismantle NATO from within. In a final confrontation, Gradov himself guns down Kirk, eliminating the liability she had become. Bissett engages in a brutal hand-to-hand duel with Sasha and emerges victorious. Clark and Derringer chase down Gradov and, in a thunderous climax, end his reign of terror for good. 2 months later, the cracks in NATO have been mended. Clark and Derringer, once bitter rivals, now stand as close allies and friends. In a tongue-in-cheek post-credits scene, Marty Comer is revealed to have survived the Warsaw ambush thanks to a titanium plate in his skull. While shamelessly trying to pick up women in a bar, he's approached by Bissett once again, suggesting the spy games are far from over.